What up? Back on here today. Was gonna hop back on here last night, but kind of hit a little wall. Sometimes it happens when you've been coding a lot in programming. Like you just need to take a little break and see things a little bit clearer. So took a little break, took the night off, and I'm back on here today with a fresh eye set to look at this kind of problem that I'm trying to figure out with my new feature for collective called collectives, which is essentially like kind of a Facebook page, so to speak, for users where they can have a shared space for other users, create their own collectives, cross post, share, kind of, amplify their voice. Generally, what creative collectives do out in the real world, but also gonna be kind of a similar concept on the platform. So, kind of figuring that out, and took a little break, and I think I kind of got figured out a little bit how I want things to look. So let's kind of hop in here and see what I can do today. Yeah, first and foremost, I want to manage. Hold on, let me log back in here. In fact, let's just stop this on a fresh container. Oops, sorry. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, I know what I did. Stupid. All right, let's get back in here. All right, cool. So let's see where we left off. All right, so I want to clean this up right here, because I should, yeah, have it here. I don't know why it's not in this list. Make a better switcher. Have this switch accounts. Kind of want it similar, but I don't know if I want it to be a full pop up. Kind of like to drop down and just being able to quickly switch. Let's take a look at this. Let's see. All right, so I think I'm actually going to put this all into one. So I have already a Switch account, which allows me to sign into multiple accounts at once. So let's say, I think, it's that password. Let's see. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been on here, so I'm gonna just reset this. See if I can't reset. You want a notification. Create a task. All right, I know why. Maybe I don't. All right. Forget. Let's reset that. Let's see. Where is that forgotten password email? Here it is. Let's copy this. Cool. All right, now I should be able to switch. I want to come here. Should be able to sign in now. Me test. All right, when I come, cool. Now I got it. The full list of switched accounts. Let's come here. Clear these out so I keep sending these messages. All right, cool. So I already can switch accounts. Already set up, and I'm probably going to actually reuse this for switching into a collective as well. See how I want to do that. I'm not really sure I want to do that. Contacts, view profile. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna just reuse that. I think that's the best way forward. So let's come to switch. Count mono, and then that's gonna be in my root. What I wanted to do. All right, so in my root, I should have fully loaded all of those accounts anyways, because I already had account switching from anywhere. You have to put it in the root layer, and I have admin, theme, session, notification results. Where is, maybe it's my header. switching context right here. And then my organizations. Should be maybe user. Link to. As you can see, it's been a little bit since I've been on here, so. I think it's header menu on switch account. Set is switch account. I think it's header menu. So let's come here. Cause then in my switch, where is it? First of all, let's just remove this. This is unnecessary. And then let's come here, my switch account, sets on switch account, on switch. This action. I forgot which modal that is. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Which modal is that? All right, so it's got to be. Gotta be this one. Alan Q over there in Twitch, man. What's up? What about my project? Which project are you talking about? Because I've been on here doing a couple now. So you're talking about this project I'm currently working on, or one of my past ones? I would like to reuse this, but I don't know if that's going to confuse things. All right, yeah. So, all right. So I don't know if I want to put this into the same modal. So as a user, you get 4 max accounts, and then this is going to show obviously 4. I can also have different collectives, which will be different pages that you can be a member of or an owner of. I don't know if I want to have them all be in the same list. That can be kind of confusing, and you can have up to like 10 different accounts in here basically. Deciding if I should reuse this or I should create a whole separate context for it. You work good. I want to work together. I mean, I'm always open. Are you a programmer, developer? What do you do? You should have some startup things, projects, and maybe I should. How can you do this? Like I said, I mean, what do you do? What's your specialty? You're a developer, you're a programmer, you do UI, web design, front end, back end, what kind of startups? Have you ran a business? I mean, there's a lot of questions. Let me know what you do. All right, so UX is always kind of tricky. I don't know I kind of want to not confuse things and have it be one central point of command basically for all switching accounts, whether you're switching into a user account, a different user account, or a different collective. And that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this two separate sections, one user profiles, and then separate will be I think collectives, which is, to me, I think is the right road to go down. All right, so I think I'm gonna do that. I think that's a better route. All right, so it says switch accounts, function, session list. All right, so it's just grabbing all my sessions. All right, so I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna say // trolling. All right, and thank you over there on Twitch. We currently have a draft, and I have basic knowledge of it. I'm building with the help of artificial intelligence. If you'd like to review it, I can send you the link. All right, so like, if you want to do something official, I'm always open. I'm definitely open. I don't really like getting links sent to me, to be honest with you, because for obvious reasons. But if you want to message me, go ahead and shoot me a message and we can kind of continue talking there. Whether you want to hit me on IG or email or Discord. I mean, Discord, my user name is IMDHunt. You can message me there. Email, same. You can find me on my my portfolio page, dariohunt.com. You can definitely check that out and you'll see email. Shoot me an email. I mean, that's the best way. If you really want to work, like, I'm always open. I definitely take on a lot of projects and I'm always available depending on the project. So if you are serious about this, you can definitely shoot me a message and, you know, we can get in touch. To be a central point for controlling which account. All right, so I want to make this my central point, and what I'm going to do is, where is it? Where am I? Button, log out. All right, so I need another section. Need another section right here. Go to do, add collectives section. If you use boss in which you can switch to. All right, so let's do this. I want to add another controlling. Just add some context. Only show collectives the current logged in account is a member of. And allow switching, basically. Allow that context switching. Allow context switching. All right, that looks good to me. So, all right, so what I have right now set up is there is a separate kind of context switching for switching into separate collectives that you might be a member of, as right here. But then I also had already an ability to switch between multiple user accounts. And I think that's kind of confusing to have two separate modals and everything. I should just have one central account hub. So I'm going to reuse this switch accounts modal, and I'm going to add another section here for just the collectives that you can switch into. Obviously, I'm going to have to do a couple more gating and guardings to make sure that this currently signed in user only can see which collectives that they're actually a part of. So I'm gonna have to come in here and clean a few things up. All right, so let's come in here. Don't know why it has email. I don't like email. Let's go. Username, I believe. Let's do that. Active context, nope. Let's go switch to a collective. Switch organization ID. All right, see what I added. Switch accounts. Let's leave you as you were. Sucks an account to. That made no sense. Do that. Select an account to switch to or add a new one. Let's keep it like that. All right, so it grabbed my organizations, which is basically how I handle all these kind of page functionality from my last app. My last SaaS app, I pretty much use this exclusively for handling workspaces, and what I needed to do was I use BetterOff's organization. So I actually got a pretty good grasp on terms of BetterOff than this kind of functionality because I did months of work on this one. So I'm using the same thing. They have their own kind of calls for things. I might put this into a loader. Right now it's doing it on the client side. I don't necessarily love doing it like that, but it's basically use auth client, and it's using a use active organization, which is what allows you using BetterOff to switch a user into said organization as well. And then let's go again, listing organizations, and then you're setting the state so that you know which one you are going to be switching into or which one you are actively currently in, so you don't get some kind of weird bugs in between there. Just another like error loading thing. And then here's the actual function to switch my organization context. Current ID, find your active organization, because you're going to set that once you switch. And then you're going to try to set it to the spending ID, and then on switching change, which you can close the modal or open the modal, and then off client the organization. Then you're going to set the active organization right here. And then I don't normally do it like this, so I'm probably going to have to, I don't like doing a hard reload, so I'm going to switch that to something else. Again, organization size pending, organization DD, mutating set. All right, that looks decent. I'm definitely coming here and clean a few things up. I do things a little bit differently sometimes than ISA code. Export function, switch. All right, so yeah, so I'm gonna have to move eventually this from this modal to the actual root layer, because you're gonna be able to switch accounts from anywhere within the app. You're going to need that context initially and always, pretty much. So I'm just gonna have to bring this all the way over to my root layer so you can get that context. And then come here, let's go to refresh. So it did list it, switch to a collectives. Let's change that name. Switch. Let's just call you collectives, for example. And let's take this same thing. Let's remove this uppercase. Don't need that. Then let's bring you here for the same for this. It's going to be go user accounts. Nope. That was going to be the place. Let's put you here. Let's fix this context. I feel like you put you in different areas. All right, let's put you here. Is max action reach? All right, come here. Come back and view this. It's a little bit better. User accounts, collectives, clear separation. This personal account, I need to clean this up because I'm currently not in here. Don't need this anymore. Let's come back here. How's it doing it? Organizations.map, switching. Let's do this. Personal account, here it is. It's pretty much unnecessary. Switch to. All right, let's try this. Let's just see how it does. Switching here. As you can see, my context is now I am signed in basically as that collective, meaning I can post, I can message, I can get notifications specifically from this page as the owner of this page. And then if I come here, this needs to be changed to that as well. And then I come back here. Right, so it does actually user accounts. Context switching. All right, so I'm gonna clean this up. That's a good question. I don't want to do this. All right, I kind of need this button still because they are separate technically. But if I come here and switch into this account, for example, I shouldn't see any collectives because I'm not actually a member of any. Right, so I'm not. All right, so this shouldn't even be showing. Where is it? If organization is length equals 0, you are not a. Let's do it like this. Personal user. All right, so let's come here, put this here. Let's change this to context this. This should remove that completely. And then I gotta remove. Oh, that's why he did it like that. All right, hold on. Sky1Days, man, what up? Thanks for joining the stream. What am I working on? I'm working on a social kind of platform that I've been building on and off. It's actually live. It's been live for a little bit, but it's currently in beta, and I'm adding a new feature to it right now. Shouldn't be it. Yeah, I'm adding a new feature to it right now that is basically a kind of quasi kind of Facebook page. For example, I'll just kind of show you. Let's switch my account real quick. Let's come here. Basically, it's a social platform for like creatives right now that people can post to and share and network and communicate. Strictly for kind of creatives like musicians, artists, filmmakers, whatnot. They could post like you would normally kind of expect from a kind of social network, so to speak, which I don't really consider this to be, but kind of like that. You get your own profile. Kind of share your details, all your information, different postings, so whatever. What I'm actually implementing now is another feature, kind of like a Facebook page, where you can switch into, for example, a separate, what we call them collectives, which you will be able to basically have multiple members of. You can invite other creatives into this as well. And this page is basically where you can kind of cross post basically. So if a user were to follow just this collective, they would be able to see any other members kind of posts that get shared to this, and you can also share to other profiles from this page. So basically just a way to kind of amplify people's posts and works, is generally purposed of what a real world kind of collective would be, kind of bringing that real aspect of a collective into a kind of social platform kind of aspect. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now, figuring out context switching and just how to kind of the UX of everything. So that's generally what I'm working on right now. But it's actually live. It's been live for a little while. It's just going through a lot of testing, very closed testing, invite only at the moment. Oh, that's pretty cool. Kind of like a Pinterest for creators, but with collabs. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely something similar. Like Pinterest was definitely an inspiration. I like how they display things, very visually kind of forward. So yeah, it's kind of like Pinterest, but with actual kind of social aspects into it, like very socially kind of minded in terms of communications and collabing on stuff and networking and being able to do things like that. So yeah, Pinterest is definitely a kind of like inspiration. I actually have like a side business I've been running for a while that covers a lot of creatives and artists and things like that. And it's kind of like the same thing, like all these platforms, especially like Instagram stuff, they're just not very creative friendly. And I figured like, why not take a shot at it since I'm learning how to build things anyways. I think it's a good opportunity to like expand my skills and really learn how all these different systems interact and work with. And this is something I built. I don't know. I built it back probably like January, February, and now I'm kind of getting back to it and adding some more stuff to it. You said the front end looks quite nice. I mostly work on embedded systems, so don't often get to do much I would call artistic designs. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm definitely I've said this a few times on these streams, I'm definitely more UI. When you say UI, I'm just definitely design coded when it comes to development. I need to see it first. Like if I don't think I can make it in a cool, good looking way, I probably won't make it. So I'm definitely like design first and then I worry about the functionality. But I feel like if I can actually see it and bring it on page and like then I can develop something pretty functional. But yeah, I'm definitely design first. Like I don't think I wouldn't be able to work on something where I think the design is pretty shitty. And I've actually done a few projects for other people. I'm like, like, do you want me to just redo this? Like, I'm definitely heavily design coded in that kind of aspect. It's actually the first thing I learned was CSS. So kind of makes sense. All right, so if I ever need a whiteboard for the streams, recommend something like ScalaDraw. Okay. I mean, I've watched some other people's stuff, and I've always wondered what they use, and that's what everybody said. That's what kind of what they use for like actually on screen like whiteboarding. I actually literally have a physical whiteboard. Like I write down everything I kind of work on literally on a whiteboard right next to me. So might actually use that. Just writing things out is massive for me in terms of all these plans because you work on like 4 or 5 different projects. Things begin fuzzy. Like it's been months since I touched this, so like I'm kind of back in here and trying to figure out everything I left off of. I wrote down a lot of things that helps, but yeah, and like it definitely gets fuzzy. All right, so where did I put that? User accounts should be. Actually, don't know where to put that. Constant session. Maybe it's not here. Maybe I just need to put it. Shit, you're right. Let's place you here. It's tripping. All right, I should have cleaned it up. And then I want to. All right, so I need to figure this out. All right, so now when I switch accounts, basically I'm gonna have to set this up where at the currently it just switches your user account, but also I'm going to have to need to log you out of this organization and then log you into this one. All right, so let's do that right now. Let's go to use your personal profile. Let's doesn't make sense. Let's remove you. What is that? Good question. What is that switch? Just refresh. All right, it is refresh. It is refresh. All right, so let's come here. So switch to like that, and then let's add div BG card maybe. And it. The accent. Nah. I think maybe two. If you said if you use a /me endpoint could just expire the token. So actually use BetterOff. I don't know if you use BetterOff. But with BetterOff organizations actually do a really good job of kind of wiring that up for you. Basically, I just need to call their specific function. I forget what it's called. It's like leave organization. It's something. I just need to call that before I actually handle the switching, which was wired up way before. But this is all basically BetterOff based, including switching user accounts. So they actually have controls for all that already. I just need to remember exactly what they were. All right, let's make this. All right, div class. So you might be. So you already got a border. Let's go. Almost there. Exit. Now let's come here. Shoot. Maybe do hover for both. All right, now my favorite way of doing that. Let's do this. Let's go border. Hover, transition. Duration. And ease you in. All right, that looks better. Let's go muted. So muted slash 60 maybe. All right, looks better. Switch back. Switch my personal account. Checked personal account. Actually, let's keep this the same. So what is it? It's let's just keep this the same. All right, but then I do want to go bring this up a little, and then let's ease in, and then let's just add this. Same for you. Mission colors. All right, that looks better. Keep it consistent, and then add this one other button. Come here. And another. Wait, what am I doing? All right, let's come here. Let's add button. It's gotta be. Div. Class name. Let's go flex. Let's column on that. Let's run that. And then let's go. Need you to be full. Give you a gap of 2 maybe. Should be good. And then come here. Justify between flex 1. Right. Now I need this to be create a collective. And instead I need you to slash, what route is that? Duke 13771, what up? He said I'm more of a Java kind of guy. You know, I like my code. I like my Gauss objectified. That's a good one. That's a good one. I've actually never touched Java. JavaScript, Java, no. I actually don't even enjoy JavaScript that much. It's just pretty much the industry standard right now for most jobs, especially freelancing. Is everybody needs something built in JavaScript or TypeScript and React, and that's kind of how I fell into it. I just wanted to learn whatever is going to actually pay right now, so that's kind of how I fell into it. I do want to learn like Python and maybe a little C+ at some point, C++ at some point, but Right now, it's been strictly TypeScript, React. I used to know Ruby on Rails pretty well. Might fall back on that just a little bit. I kind of want to learn it again, but JavaScript is my favorite, but it's definitely something that I've kind of just fallen into, honestly. That's what that route is. Unclick, unselect. What's my is mutating? I don't remember which one that is. Switching token, revoking token, switching organization ID. All right, cool. Max sessions reached at 6. Let's add another one. Is max reach? No, let's say. I'll give you 5. Let's start with 5. At 5 is the max right now. So then it's going to use max. Limit 5. Okay. All right, let's come here. That looks pretty good. Actually, don't even need this call, actually. Let's just remove this because it's going to be very different on mobile. Collect this, switch to personal account. And if I switch here, I shouldn't see it anymore. See this, switch to personal account. You are not a member of any. So I shouldn't even be showing this. Let's go switch to personal. This shouldn't be showing at all. Let's just put you. Add you here. Why is it showing? If organization online equals. Oh shit. I know what I'm doing. Doing wrong. Let's bring you here. All right, cool. Slash got rid of it. Not remember any collectives yet. Cool. But I can create one. And it brings me here. So let's go to switch account again. Not a member. Switch back. All right. So that's fine. And then let's, for example, need to make sure this is cleaned up. So I'm just going to tell it to check it. All right, so I know better off if I switch from a account. Let me see. Switching organization ID. Auth client is going to be. Here, let's do this. And some context, so I know what the hell's going on. All right, bookmark this. Switch variation to context. If it's not switching, revoking token. auth client dot scopes currently active account session, force refresh, give the orientation ID. Actually might need to do a hard refresh just simply because I don't want them to be able to access certain things they aren't supposed to. I'm gonna leave it like that. Normally I just do it just refreshing certain parts of the page, but I'm just gonna do a hard refresh because I don't want things to get hung up and they get access to things they aren't supposed to, so that's fine. Context switching scope to the currently active. If orientation they use current ID on select return and then con spending ID. Otherwise set switching on switching, await off client or that's set active. And if I set active, I stay into my user account. Let me see. Switch to. All right, let's add this as well. Another bookmark. Just give you a name, switch. Accounts. All right. Switching orientation ID equals on click switch organization context. All right, so you're setting switch on your personal. It's probably yeah, all right. So that's revoking the token. Current session, set revoking token is current. Off client assign out. Oh yeah, that's for my switching users. All right, so I think I need to revoke the token manually when I switch from here. All right, so when a user switches from collective/organization into another user account that they need to have active nation revoked. So they don't access to a collective that user account isn't a part of, doesn't have access to. Can you ensure this? All right. So that should clean things up. I'm switching to this context. Now I'm gonna remove this whole menu. This is kind of redundant at this point. All right, it says I'll patch the account switch well, so it's always clear. Exploration immediately. So always clear is exploration immediately after switching sessions, guaranteeing new account lands in personal context by default. Implemented. All right, so let's see what it changed. All right. Wait, all the session that's set active. Always reset orientation context and account switch from another account to off client orientation set active orientation. All right, so it's setting it to null, so it's clear. Always reset orientation account switch to avoid carrying it or. always reset your context and account switch. Let's do that. All right, cool. So that should fix it. Now, if I come in here and let's, for example, I'm signed in here, and then I sign into this other account that I have, but this account does not have permissions to be in here. So when Better Off does its thing, basically it signs you out, removes a token, and then re-signs you back into this other one on the back end through Better Off. It should also every time revoke my active organization, so I shouldn't have those carry over to this new session. Then if I come here, it's not in it, but if I say I go to, for example, let's go to the page. I shouldn't be able to manage. Nope, and I can follow it. Then let's say, for example, try to go to the manage page. Didn't get cool. All right, so that works. So switch account, switch back. When I switch back, I have access to this manage. Cool. All right, that looks good so far. See, I have 1 follower. Go to my about. Follower updates. Cool. All right, so next I want to clean this up right here. So let's come to my header. Actually, no, let's clean up my mobile first. So for example, if I come here, I go to switch account. Now get this new context, switch account, kind of like this. All right, that's actually pretty fun. All right, let's where's my mobile? Good question. I think I have in the same file. Sorry, select an account. Drawer content is here. Text last, switch account, subject account, switch. Session list. All right, cool. So this is the session list, and this is the drawer. Let's add a height to this though. Let's go. What's 140 look like? All right, cool. Let's just go here. Let's give you a max. All right. I don't know if I had a width set on this. Let's see. Max height 75. All right, there it is. Let's go 6 maybe. All right, cool. So if I come here, switch should work the same. Did not for whatever reason. Why isn't this? So it says I'm logged in. This should be changing. I think I need to go do that in my mobile menu. But if I come in, I take it out of mobile view, I should see it right here. All right, cool. So it is actually doing it, but I need to clean up my mobile menu now. But I know that this works. Cool. And great. All right, let's clean this up. Let's clean this up. I don't want to do this though. Let's come here. Let's come to header. All right, so here's my user avatar. Active context. All right, so I'm not gonna do this manually. So I'm gonna tell it to remove this. Let's go here. Let's go remove the context. Drop down. And change the behavior to launching the switch account modal and clicked that. I just do like that. So right now there is a modal, that little drop down that comes. I'm going to remove that, and there's a weird little hover going on, but I wanted to launch my modal instead completely. So let's just rip that out. Button, the switching account modal, open true, active context avatar, active context name, basically figuring out who's signed in, active context, active handle. Text is, why is it, what's this for? Context name. I think I need that. All right, so then if I come here, let's refresh. Now clicking this should be launching this. All right, and it is. I don't know if y'all noticed, but there is a quick little right here where it shows my other personal account, even though that's not the account I'm personally in control of right now. And the reason that is because, like I said, I need to move that loader to the root layer, so it doesn't need to refresh on every single client reload. So that's something I need to do. But I got it so far. All right, it launches, cool. I don't know what this hover is from though. It's weird. Host. I don't know where the hover's from. Some guy user. PG muted. I don't see where it's coming from. Actually, I do know where it's coming from. Let's come here. Yeah. All right. So it's this variant. Let's go hover. PG. I'll try again. Cool. It's gone. All right, so I kind of want to do something a little tricky. I want to actually use, let's switch to my personal account. I'm going to use Shatian's avatar group. Let's see how that goes. Let's go to Shatian. Actually, I don't know if I can, because I don't know if I use Shatian for my. And I did not. I think I created my own avatar before I actually used ChatCN because I didn't really know that ChatCN had this. I probably would have used theirs, but luckily with agents, I can pretty much emulate this. So I'm going to create a separate component to have avatar groups. Bryce Brinkmanship, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the chat over there, the stream over there on YouTube. Your question is, did I have any formal education or program? Just curious. No. Outside of like YouTube, and I actually did do Free Code Camp, which is technically it is kind of formal education. It's like training, it's courses. I've done coursework in programming, specifically like JavaScript and SQL and a few other backend things that I really wanted to learn. But in terms of like classes and university stuff, like no, I've actually had none of that. I've been kind of like a lifelong learner. I've always kind of tinkered with stuff and figured things out. I think the great thing about coding is that you don't necessarily need formal education to learn how to code. I think anybody can learn how to code pretty easily if they just put the time in. But formally, no, I haven't actually had any work. I just kind of a lot of courses. Well, not gonna say a lot, some courses and a lot of just hands-on time. Are you you're in development? You're a software engineer? Like, what's good with you? All right, so I'm going to tell it to create another component. Can you create another avatar component that can group avatars together? Let's be specific. Together in a stacked layout showing 3 avatars max and a plus count for any more than that. All right, let's do that. You said, yeah, you're a software engineer still in school, but have a job lined up after I graduate. Hey, man, congrats, because jobs is kind of hard to come by these days. So if you got one already lined up for when you graduate, that's fire. Was it just your bachelor's? Like, how long you been doing it? What kind of job you kind of get into? And like, how'd you get into software engineering? Like, what drew you to it? You said being a lifelong will never backfire, though. Good stuff. Absolutely not. I think that, to stay active is key. I genuinely enjoy learning new shit. Like, I'm just a curious person. I think that's kind of how you kind of continue to grow and just stay, kind of young in the mind and the body, is just staying active and being creative. Yeah, thanks. I've had my offer since freshman year. Okay, I mean, damn, since freshman year, that's pretty dope. So were you interning like over the years with them, and then now you're just gonna kind of like fully go into that role? All right, avatar stack, and also, I mean, since you're still pretty young, getting into this, were you? I guess, did you start learning along with AI, or did AI come along in the process while you had already started doing the courses for it? And like, how's that kind of affected you? All right, avatar stack. Max visible 3, size medium, visible count, visible avatars, extra count. All right, looks good enough for now. Let's just see how it does, and then let's come back to my header. And let's say I want an avatar stack. All right, so I want to utilize avatar stack for the header avatar. if the user is a member of one or more collectives. I only want to show the I don't want to show this. 1, 2, 2, 3. I only want to show one extra. Let's just do it like this. If the user is a member, I want to use the avatar stack for that avatar if the user is a member of one or more collectives using the organization / collectives logo for their avatars. Try to see what it does. All right. You said, yeah, I came after I got good. Now it just automates a lot of what I do. My type of work is general full stack, tech stack, looks like React, Java, Spring Boot, SQL, and Postgres. Okay. I mean, it's pretty similar to what I use, definitely. You work for a major retailer and actually worked at one of their stores before interning there and getting an offer there as well. That's dope. That's dope. So like you're saying you worked there before and then you start getting your formal education and now you're going to be working there as in terms of like, you know, software engineering. That's pretty dope. And you say code creator, software engineering hiring spree. So I've been in from that. I definitely wouldn't be able to find a job if I was entering today's market. I mean, that's true. Definitely. I definitely remember that during COVID, it was definitely a boom and seemed like everybody was trying to get into it and they were able to get jobs with barely any kind of education or skill, honestly. And definitely things have taken a sharp turn, but I mean, definitely harder to get into like major companies for sure in terms of like availabilities. But I will say there's definitely been a boom in terms of freelance opportunities if you are good in that area as well. If you're able to sell yourself honestly and get those jobs, there are a ton of clients out there looking for software work or apps or something nowadays because everybody thinks it's so easy, and once they start they realize no, you still actually kind of need to know your shit. And you said AI came after you got good. Now it just automates a lot of it. I mean, that's pretty dope. Like, man, it's actually good that you were able to at least get a good foundation before AI came along. That's pretty much how I kind of tried to learn. Like, I didn't use AI for the first like 6 to 8 months of my kind of like relearning experience. And having that ground foundation, honestly, is massive in my opinion. And then anything AI gives you is such a plus on top of that. But just straight up like building everything without learning or knowing the fundamentals is kind of crazy to me. You said, yeah, freelance is good. I've done a couple projects building apps for startups. Yeah, I mean, there's so many startups now, honestly. Like everybody's trying to get a side hustle. Everybody's trying to do something. And if you're able to like kind of fill that gap, it's definitely a lot harder. Obviously, you know, you got to really sell yourself and market yourself and get out there and like constantly hunt jobs. But that freedom and flexibility is pretty amazing, honestly. And there are a lot of opportunities. It's just, there's definitely a lot of oversaturation in that area too. But if you can stand out, it's definitely good work. But I mean, that's pretty dope, man, that you're able to just launch into a job right away, especially in this climate. All right, so the stack looks pretty good. But the order is wrong. Let's because I'm not currently signed in as this, so this one should be in front. All right, let's just change that order. Or maybe not. Let me just come here. Plus extra count. Okay, let's see. Order of the stack, the header stack, the account that a user is signed into should be first. Let's see what it does. Thanks, Matt. So I gotta go. I definitely checking your stuff, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate the sub. Appreciate you hopping in there and joining the chat, man. Like, definitely. I'm definitely getting more regular on here. So if you ever see me on here, hop in and I want to see what you're up to. But appreciate the time. All right, so I think I fixed it. So if I come here, all right, cool. So now it is genuinely stacked. Cool. So that automatically launches. I think it's a little bit too far. Let's change that. See index. Da, da, da. All right, let's change the overlap. Where's the push? Where's that? Oh, it's gotta be here. Margin left. So what am I on? Margin left. All right, so let's go margin left. Let's try 6. All right, bet that's better. Okay, so you know if you have that now, if I come here and let's say, for example, I switch to an account that does not have them, I should not see it. Cool. All right, so I need to move all these loaders to, where am I? I need to move all of this to the root. List. At least my context should be here. All right, active organization. All right, so let's do this. Let's go root. And let's tell it I need to move the organization. Wait, I don't want to say this. All right, so y'all can definitely see this. So when I refresh, there's a definitely delay between it grabbing the context of my organization and which organizations I have to know that it needs to be consistent and show this. The reason that is because this only comes in after the client is loaded, and I need to change that kind of behavior, which I kind of peeped when it first set this up. Is it's all running on auth client, which it does a lot when you use BetterAuth and an agent. For whatever reason, it kind of defaults to that. I like doing things in the loader first, and I'm gonna have to move. Let's see where it is. So I'm gonna move this call. Where's it? Where's the call? This current organization, and let's see, it should be in here somewhere. Oh, right here. All these use organizations, list organizations. I'm gonna move all of this to the root and put it in a loader, not the client, which is currently happening. And that should fix my issue of it kind of flashing to your one single avatar. So let's do this. I need to move the organization context to the root loader, so I don't get a flash, basically a flash of the wrong avatar before it corrects itself. For more context, basically switch to BetterAuth server functionality. Then also what I like to do, I need to make sure it gets these context right, and it doesn't always get that right. Sometimes when you use third-party kind of packages with these agents, they get very old information, and a lot of times I have to find myself going and actually grabbing the information from your documentation and feeding it to it so it knows exactly what needs to happen. So for example, come here, let's go to active organization, or let's go use list. All right, so here there's two ways of doing this. As you can see, there's in the client, which is fine, but when you're doing stuff in a header, you're definitely going to want it to be on the server side so it comes in before everything is loaded using the auth API. So let's come here, let's do this. And then what's the other one? Use active organization, same thing. It always pulls from this. From my experience, agents always pull from this client kind of functionality and builds it from there, when I actually prefer to do it from the server. So I'm going to also do it like this. Is created. You can use database hooks, use active organization, get for organization, update. I think that's all I need. All right, and then let's to run that. Let's just keep these for now. The next thing I will need to do is clean up this mobile header. That's weird. Let's refresh. This should be showing the same thing as my header. I need to actually probably pull from the same source of truth, so I don't need to constantly update both. All right, let's see what it did. So yeah, basically I'm going to refactor this to pull from the same avatar component. Because right now I'm having to come there and double check everything. That's kind of annoying. All right, so let's just check what it did. Random type check. Const set active organization server async. Don't know if I like how it did that. Let me see. Punishment is two-part. First, more deviation to root loader. Then update header to read that loader data instead of client hooks. So the initial avatar is correct on first paint. All right, so it moved. So pulled an auth, lib off that server into my actual loader. Grab my sessions equals auth API list organizations. This should happen upon first initial load, and then we'll never have to do this again. And then active organization, set it if there is one. Organization ID, find, cool. Then you pass it into the actual loader data and then come into my header. It said it pulling from there, so removes my auth client, which I was going to do eventually. And then again, type of users and first select use this loader data, which comes from the root, and it brought in my organizations. Could just make a separate type for this, which I probably will do. The name select because it's just redundant at this point. ND logo, yeah. That's an array. We'll see. I might whittle this down into one type that if I can. Organization off that. So okay. It was actually loading in my header, but it was using again the client, which was causing that delay. Data, that organization ID is my active organization. Same with my member organizations. Okay. You should be passing this down. Where is it? Member organizations. All right, yeah. So it's getting passed down to my header avatars. And then I don't know why it created a separate API. Let me see why it did that. And then move organization context to server data and switch organization music. Okay, so it added it to a server action. I'll run and touch file to fix anything in that services. All right, so it created an async. So it's calling my API to actually run actions, which would be handling basically all my mutations of signing out, signing in, and all other stuff, and setting my active organization, which I guess is one way to do it. One other way I would probably do this myself is I would have created an action function into my actual header component, and then using that and passing that down to my modal. But that is also, I mean, you can do it this way where you call an API. I don't know which way I prefer, but we'll see. Set actualization, return data off the API, set actualization. All right, so that's setting it. I don't necessarily know if that's needed. I don't know if I can create a server action here and then pass it down to my actual modal or not. That's a good question. Switch modal, actualization server async. See if there's a difference. I'm asking. Is there the API and a file over using wrapped routers server actions? It may be because I might need to pass down some props and figure out all that kind of functionality versus just calling an API. Probably be a little bit easier. I'm going to answer this directly. Direct router loaders, actions, features, separate API route models, including where usually no meaningful route performance, but either way, it's request flow, not actions are faster code. Okay, if both at the same server, that again be efficient and not because they integrate with form submission and revalidation. So I don't actually need that. Fetch API to mutate, then another fetch to refresh page data that can add extra round trip. Let's see if it does. So rewind giving better when you need to reuse outside the route. Extra action for UI own mutations, not route flow. All right, so basically saying I should separate my API routes typically when I'm using a shared operation, and I don't know if I'm going to be using a shared operation for this, but I might actually. I'll just leave it. Just double check, make sure everything works. I want to come here, set this. I am signed in. So switch account. All right, cool. But if I refresh again, this image should be flipped now. All right, let's come here. Let's keep that. My user avatar. Okay, when signed into an it should be the first image in the stack with the personal user account behind as the second. All right, let's do it. All right, do a quick little fix for that, and then I'm going to also push this into a separate component. All right, cool. Come back here, see what it did. Should show avatar stack, non-active organizations. Basically, there's no active organization, and then should show active organization. Then I should show the avatar stack. Avatar is active source. Not active. Our news never asked it afterwards. First personal user account tag or many organization have that. Change the header. Let's double check this. Say I come here. Switch to personal. Cool. Expected behavior. Now let's take this and, for example, just keep these. All right here. So let's copy this. Let's refactor this into its own. Here, actually, let's do this. Let's go refactor this into its own component and replace the mobile. Let's go mobile. This should be header. All right. Button. Cool. All right, so I should handle it. And I like how it looks visually. Sorry, that'll be the most part visually of how to handle switching. Everything generally seems to work. Switching to this account works, and then if I come to it, all right, let's change this as well. This needs to update. Where is it? Let's go to header menu. All right, so I created an account context avatar button. Pass it down and props. Cool. And then here's mobile. Pass it down as props. All right. And then set the switch account modal is open. Yeah. All right, so I come here. So refresh. All right, so now I don't need to continually update this between the two. They should just be using the same individual source of truth. Launches my drawer instead of my modal, and then here we go. And then make sure it still works. I can switch to a personal account and it switches. Cool. Then I come here. Still the same switch, should also switch. Cool. Chicom San, over on Twitch. What's up? Thanks for joining the chat. Hi, what's a pro hooper? I guess my first question would be, where are you from? From the US, it'd be kind of crazy to ask that question, but a pro hooper is somebody that played basketball as a professional and made money, made a living basically playing basketball. That's what I was. And Jake 8 Cake, you were a pro hooper. Yes, I was a pro hooper. Let's see some highlights. You can Google it. My name's Dario Hunt. Like, there's tons of videos, tons of clips. Did I make it to league? No, I made it to G League, did summer league. I did preseasons. I was Houston on contract as a kind of G League player, but I never actually played in the league. I played 13 plus years, I think, overseas, all throughout Europe, Champions League, Euro Cup, Euro, stuff like that. But yeah. And let's see some highlights. Yeah. I mean, my name is very available to Google. For people that don't believe me, it's very easy to find. All right, let's keep that. And then what else do I need? So let's come here, go to create. You said, damn, why did I leave all that? Because I played 13 plus years. I mean, what else is there kind of to do at that point? Like I basically hit a wall where I was like, all right, I'm ready to start doing something else. I did pretty much everything I wanted to at that point. At that point I was just hooping just to hoop, and it was just time to move on to other things. Honestly, it was just, a grind. Anybody that's played overseas that knows anything about playing overseas, they know how much of a grind it is. You can be away for like 9-10 months, and then fast forward and you look back and like, damn, my parents are getting old, my nieces and nephews getting old. Like, you've been away for 13 plus years. It's might be time to just consider doing different things. And also just from intellectually kind of standpoint, like I was ready to really challenge myself in something else. Chichon, I don't know how I'm saying it. But yeah, he said, wow, and you picked programming. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't say I picked programming. Honestly, programming picked me. It's something I've always been doing. It's not something I just kind of like picked up at like in the last year or two. It's something I've literally been doing for a large majority of my life on the side anyways. This is just something I decided to kind of go full in on and like really get the grips on and like understand how everything works and how to build stuff and kind of be a professional in this kind of realm. But yeah, it's not something I necessarily would say I picked. It's just something that I've always kind of done. I've enjoyed building shit. Like, honestly, building is like very satisfying for me, and like understanding systems and how to build things out, and the ability to build out like an entire thing with just code and put it on the web for people to use and see and utilize is pretty fucking dope to me. So like, it's a very satisfying thing to build something, and the quickest way to build something these days is with code and with programming. Like, you just take something from your mind and like put it on to put in some code, and all of a sudden it's like this real world functioning thing, and the thing is super dope to me. And you said my SaaS looks nice, and I appreciate that. You're getting Jira vibes. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely similar. There's a lot of like kind of project task management things. If I'm speaking correctly though, I think Jira is more of a internal kind of project management, task management kind of platform, whereas Greenlight, if you guys don't know, in the top corner, where am I pointing? This top corner over here. Can't even point right. That top corner over there. Greenlight.co was my last SaaS that I just launched about a week ago. Worked on it for about 6 to 8 months, 6 to 8 weeks. But yeah, it is definitely similar to Jira, Asana, Trello. There are a lot of other solutions for project task management, but what a problem I was running into, there weren't a lot of solutions for external kind of project task management, handling clients and communications and all that. And whereas that is kind of where my SaaS kind of fills the gap. I personally use it for all of my freelance work currently, and some other people that I know are using it for theirs. It's just a way to kind of communicate and manage and run a project with the client from start to finish, all in kind of like one place. So it is definitely similar to those other platforms like Jira and Asana and whatever, but those are more internal for like people working on the team, and mine is definitely more external, just for you and the client. It's actually extremely I would say it's between SaaS and this, like the SaaS was definitely way more difficult to build, not on a coding standpoint, but just understanding like the UX and figuring out how to manage roles and permissions and security and all these, user experiences and making everything intuitive and feel easy to use. That was way harder than a social network, because a social network, pretty much everybody knows how those things work. You don't need to like figure that out. But building like user experiences from the start was extremely difficult. There's a lot of times where like it definitely felt like I hit a wall, but yeah, I got that out and I'm pretty happy about it. So I'm always open, if anybody out there that wants to go check it out and, give me your opinions and improvements or things that you might like to see, let me know. Like, it's definitely out there in the world for everybody to see, for you to join and create a profile. All right. I forget what I was doing. Let's see. So I'm here. And you said, you said outstanding, man. I appreciate that, man. Like I said, like if any of y'all want to go check it out, man, I'm always open to opinions and feedback. I definitely need feedback. Kind of want people to kind of kick the tires and tell me what you think about it. Some of y'all been here for a while and have watched me build it from, kind of the last 6 weeks. So, all right. Oh, what am I doing? Switch here. All right, that's what I was updating my header. Here it is. Here's my header menu. Menu, user.name. All right, so I need to update this with need this name and username to be updated depending on active context. As for example, if a user is switched into their /organization, name should be of that organization, and username should be the slug. Also add an avatar of the organization's logo or user profile to the left. Let's do that. Let's update that. Basically, I have hard coded it to just be the username, but because I added all this context and account switching, I needed to actually also take that into account. And I want to add a avatar here, and then I'm going to link this directly to the profile instead of what used to be. If you click the image, it would just take you to your profile, but now I'm using it to actually manage your accounts and switch and stuff like that. So if I came in here, for example, I should still be switching. Yeah, cool. So switch mode. So honestly, what I can do is I can probably remove this completely from this menu to just kind of clean things up, which I will probably do. Shicham, you said, I know it's dumb, but password strength indicator goes well with color, maybe a label at validation that displays the rules. I know everybody knows that, but still. Okay, are you talking about my SAS? I'd have to go look. Let me see what you're talking about. You're talking about a registration, and then you said, does registration process require email validation, or can I just test mail for now? So no, since this is actually a live SAS that actually taking payments on for some people, it does require email validation. I don't love email validation, but it is just still the main way to limit as much kind of bots as I can. So unfortunately, no test emails. I mean, you can do a test email if you have access to that, but it will probably fail, quite honestly. Let me see what you mean. So sure, as well, color maybe. Is that what you mean? Trying to figure out the password, maybe a label validation that displays rule. Yeah, I mean I have password must be at least 8 characters long. Is that what you mean? As well, color maybe label validation that displays rules. You're gonna have to clean up the color, make things a little bit clearer, but we'll see. I'll definitely take that into mind. Let's go refresh. Oh, but later it displays special character card. I mean, yeah, I can definitely make sure it displays it on both situations for sure. I know what you mean. All right, I know exactly what you mean. So you're basically saying like if I don't fill in what you need, it continually tells you instead of all one message. That's actually a good point. Appreciate that. I will probably go in there and tweak that later. Okay, I'll just write that down right now. Appreciate that. Definitely, some little stuff that you overlook for sure. Some of that, something you looked at for like 6-8 weeks. You internally just know what password needs to be, but not everybody does. And yeah, that's a good point. Just show the full message, full requirements from the start is definitely a smart UX improvement. Appreciate that. All right, so context, use avatar, context, name, then add a context here, type organization context, ID, logo name, Thug, active organization. Basically grabbing that, which is going to be passed down from my header. Active organization is active organization, and then when I come in here, it should automatically have that. So let's go here, it's going to switch this account. Should have that logo, cool. And you clean that up, but then let's go here, switch, and it should be updated. Cool. All right, so let's clean this. Come here. Key to this. All right, context none. Let's go truncate. Where's my theme switcher? Is that a class theme? Shrink 0. Minimum of drop down menu label. Excuse me, minimum with 0. Thanks. Gap 2. Size should be medium. And then compared, this should be minimum width 0. Overflow fit in. Fastine always has such weird little fucking bugs like this that annoy the shit out of me. With okay. Alright, that didn't fix it. Let's just add you to here. So, flex. One. Okay, you said where's it hosted? Hosted on my own VPS, my own personal setup VPS Nginx, and it's proxy through Cloudflare. So yeah, it is actually really fast, and I use Postmark for email sending. Pretty much my go-to right now is Postmark for all my applications because the email sending is so goddamn fast. And so is it for developers? Yeah, it's for anybody, honestly. I use it personally for my own developers, my own development and projects I do on the side. I'm currently doing like 3 projects myself on there, which is mostly dealing with web development. But any kind of, business or, hobby or side hobby or whatever that you do that needs to handle messaging and communications with clients and handling of projects, especially like contract type of work. Yeah, it's very, very well tuned for that. I think I did a pretty good job. I'm not gonna pat myself on the back too much, but I think I definitely spent a lot of time really thinking out that process of how to manage a client and a project and what might be needed and what might actually happen and all that stuff. So like, yeah, it's definitely geared towards like people that do client work and project work, which would be developers and stuff like that. But it's pretty much for anybody. I've already had some interesting businesses using it for things that I didn't necessarily have in mind, but it's definitely flexible. I would say that it's extremely flexible. Can I give you QA like feedback? I have not implemented that yet. That is something that is on my docket of things I want to add a little feedback form. But yeah, I'll have that up some point soon. But currently, I don't have a place to kind of take it. But if you want to shoot me like an email, you can also do that. It's just literally Dario@dariohunt.com. If you want to give some feedback, but in general, I haven't set that up yet, but it's definitely something I plan on doing. But yeah, I mean, if you're a developer and if you do some work, like, man, take advantage. I definitely want to, see more people using it and kind of get their feedback. And I want to see how people use it in general in terms of how they would run a project. Because obviously, based on now, I generally like to run projects, but I do think it is extremely intuitive and extremely flexible. Honestly, that's one thing I was really kind of careful about, is making it extremely flexible, because you can have one user account for both project management and also as a client, all in one kind of hub. All right, so this is kind of annoying. I'm trying. Truncate the avatar and name / username, but it's forcing the switcher theme switcher outside of the dropdown. And fix this. I always have so much problems with fucking ChatCN's like overflow and behaviors. It just does weird things sometimes. I don't really understand why. All right, let's see what fixed it. With full, minimum of 0. I thought I did that. With full, minimum of 0. Okay, you got rid of the justify between. I don't know why you did that. X, minimalist, center, context, minimal of 0. Weird. But then it shrinks that. All right, let's come here. Div shrink 0. All right, cool. Okay, he said create project button in main dashboard allows for multiple clicks without UI feedback. That request is already in progress. Oh, okay. That might have been overlooked for sure. That's definitely a possibility. Let me just sign into my account real quick. Matter of fact, let me sign into my dummy account. right, let me see what you're saying. Come here. Show us on the main. So let me create another. Yep, you're right. There was supposed to be a loader there, and it's definitely not. Come here. Same. All right. Yeah. Appreciate that. It's pretty quick. That's one thing I always kind of like find myself filling in the gaps always is loaders, because you know when you develop on local it's obviously extremely fast and you don't necessarily see that loading indicator. Then when you do go on production you'd be like, damn, why does it feel so slow? And then you realize like, oh, that's why you need loading indications everywhere. All right, so that is create project. And then I think that's it. I think I covered most of my app for loading, but then let's fix that. All right, cool. I'll just add that. All right, you say overall it does feel quite fast and understandable UI. The graphic design is pretty clean and on point. Man, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. That's one point of, you know, pride I do take in is my design and like kind of UI is I'm definitely design coded when it comes to development. No, I definitely take pretty good pride in thinking I can develop a pretty clean UI and design overall. So appreciate that. Appreciate you thinking it's pretty clean because that's something I definitely take pride in. You said invite client. Maybe we'll do with an option to send multiple invites at creation, or if it's tier size subscription on like maybe just feature that on the site. Yeah, I've thought about it. So right now it is currently strictly tied. Client invitation is strictly tied to project invitation as it currently stands for multiple reasons. Basically on the back end, honestly. The way it manages projects and ties things together and like starting projects and indications and all that stuff, it is, you know, directly tied to client invitations. One thing I do plan on doing in the future is adding maybe multi-tenant clients and abilities, stuff like that. But that obviously adds more complexity to the overall setup of things and just backend of things. So right now it's definitely strictly tied to one client per project, and client invitations are only tied explicitly to project creation. So I will probably loosen that up in the future and work out a good way to manage multiple clients in that kind of same project. But yeah, it's definitely on the future kind of checklist. I also want to see how often people would kind of like want that or need that, but definitely something I thought about. All right, so this is, all right, let's clean this up. Div class shrink, item center. What is that? Interesting. All right, let me figure this out. New label. The hell is that gap coming from? Space Y maybe. Nope. It's not the reason. Oh, I know exactly why. It's this stupid ass piece. Let's go span. You said also I got some development messages surfacing out on production from Reactor Router. Really? Oh. Got some development messages. Oh, no biggie. I'll definitely look into that. There's probably some late little testing and cleans ups that I never got around to, but appreciate that as well. I'll definitely look into that. Counter Gravity, man. What up, man? What's going on? Appreciate you joining the stream over there on YouTube, man. What's going on? Jumps on FYI, 10 stack, etc. Others were hacked a few days ago by many Shiad salute. Yeah, I mean, I definitely heard about that. I actually don't use 10 stack in my setup right now, so I looked into it, and I think I'm mostly safe. Obviously, you don't know 100%, but from what I've been able to glean from it, I think I don't have that in my setup, but I'm always looking. You said Counter Gravity said the temperature's up. I live in North Carolina and a long hot is upon us. Man, I can guarantee I got you beat. I live out here in the desert on the West Coast, and temperature been up for a minute. And our summer, it looking like it might be kind of crazy. All right, so that cleaned it up. There's an issue, double piece, and then might add a margin gap tail. Let's add a little margin bottom to that. All right, cool. So that looks way better. Now let's add some linkage to this. Let's need this to be a link to the no, it's this to the user's profile or collective. Depending on the active context. You said, yeah, but shade works in the desert. There's no escape from the humidity here. I mean, I will say the humidity is something I don't miss and that I never enjoyed, especially, you know, just the amount of just wetness you feel constantly. But I do live in a very hot place that even shade is just a very, very tiny reprieve from the blasting air fryer oven air that you get outside. So I don't know. It does work until you start hitting those like 110s. Now you're talking like something crazy. Like it's like, bro, it don't really matter. It doesn't matter at that point. Humidity, dryness or not, it's just fucking hot. All right, no hover. That's stupid. Let's remove that. There shouldn't be. let's just run this completely. All right, cool. That's what I wanted. Now let's go switch to my personal. All right, that's better. Chichon, what up? 110. Where are you, man? I call my home right now the great state of Arizona. So AZ, if you know AZ, it gets extremely hot in the summer. I believe one summer, I think there was like 30 plus days of 113 plus or some shit like that. It was crazy. Now, like winters and the rest of the year, absolutely immaculate, but summer times are fucking brutal. He said counter gravity, yeah, something to be said for incandescent heat. Yeah, man. Like, I'm sorry, like there's just some heats that don't really matter, humid or not. If it was humid, yeah, I couldn't live here. Like, you just could not live here. But the heat alone is more than enough to just cook you. But add humidity on top of that out here, which sometimes honestly it does happen. We get monsoons out here, which monsoon season is about 2 months, and that brings a lot of humidity in the air around like August, end of July, like, and that shit, it gets intense. All right, cool. So I think that is good, cleaned up. I feel like my spacing feels weird. Oh my god, this spacing feels weird to me. What's going on here? Let's see if it's 1.5 maybe. If it's 1. Let's just nudge it out a little bit. It just feels weird. Feels weird. There you go. Let's nudge you a little bit. You said you've never been further west than Colorado, so haven't experienced Arizona yet. I mean, if you want to experience Arizona, definitely the spring. February to about May is incredible. And I mean, wintertime's obviously great too. Like sometimes you'll be like November, shit. Sometimes deep December, you're out in like short sleeve shirts. So like it's pretty dope. Summertime, I wouldn't suggest it. But it's definitely a blast. Like there's definitely a lot of things to do out here, especially like in the nature and everything. But you said I think you said you're out here in North Carolina. Okay, I mean, I spent some time in North Carolina. I was like right outside of Raleigh for about a year or so. I enjoyed it. It's definitely a different speed than out west, that's for sure. But I enjoyed it. So this is the last comment about promise on the project. The main page when timeline is empty, I have to scroll to see that I can send messages. Maybe if time is empty, move the scroll to that section. When empty, keep it shorter and in view. To see that I can send. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. That was actually on my list. I actually have that on my list already. Screen sizing, definitely when it's empty, I want to have it in view. So I'm probably going to. I am going to adjust it. That's on my list. So good point as well. Yeah, I appreciate all feedback for sure. 1000%. I'm not taking this in any type of way. I'm very open to, critique and opinions and still learning, but there's little touches that I also have noticed, and that's one of them is for sure. Like having to scroll to send a message is one thing I will probably fix pretty soon. I will fix here pretty soon. What the fuck is going on with my language? But overall, yeah, there's a lot of things, especially like little UI touches when you've been looking at code for like so long, especially like 6 weeks just straight. You're kind of like, you miss little things. And you're just like ready to get this out. So there's always small things I'm definitely going to need to go in and fix, but I appreciate the feedback 100%. All right, so I think my header looks pretty good now. So let's just check this. All right, let's remove this. Mobile menu, switch account, right? Switch account, switch account. Let's just go ahead and remove you completely. I don't think. Need you. Oh, don't necessarily need you either. Let's come back. All right, that's clean. And then because I don't need this, I can just literally just switch from here. It looks better now. Okay, let's come back to the regular size. Also, one thing I cannot wait forward to is when they finally release CSS Masonry for the masses, and every browser adopts it, because I'm sick and tired of having to use JavaScript packages for my Masonry layouts, especially like dynamic stuff like this and whatnot. It just causes so many headaches. If I can just literally do all of this in CSS and have the loading and all that, like, it would make things so much faster and easier to manage. But soon, hopefully soon. I know that it's already in development. I know it is kind of available right now if you want to get into it early, but it's not widely available across browsers. But I cannot wait for the day, because dealing with JavaScript Masonry is not fun, honestly. Not fun at all. All right, so I'm gonna remove this as well. Since I'm managing everything from that first button, I just want to clean up a little bit. Go header menu, where is it? Switch account. Right, switch account, drop down separator. I haven't about my settings. All right, cool. I'm happy with that. Looks clean. All right, cool. So that cleaned it up. So on the UI side of things, I think things are looking pretty well in terms of my collective switching and context switching. So then I come here, let's go make this active. Create. All right, so I need to add more context here. Let's come here. Let's come here. I don't want to say this. Is a group or community that I don't want to put this. Collective is a group. All right, let's come over here. I'm working on implementing collective feature users to join / form a group where they can share / cross post to the collective, vice versa. Collectives get all the access like a normal profile. Messaging, commenting, liking, etc. Can you craft short blurb explaining what it is on a creation page? All right, let's do this. Is a shared command should be a community. All right, collective is a shared space built around a common interest, goal, or identity. It can be a no. Here, rated, feed together. Creators. Manage. I want to explain this. Can manage members, can manage members. And engage with community as that community as that collective. Share space. All right, I think that might be good. Let me see. Collective is a shared space built around a common interest, goal, or identity. Members can cross-post. Collective is a shared space built around a common interest, goal, or identity. Members can cross-post content to collective, vice versa, and build a curated feed together. And vice. Well, and curated feed together. Curators can manage members, engage with the community as the and engage with the platform. That correct? All right, cool. Let's go class name. Next, small. All right, collective is a shared space built around a government members. All right, cool. Makes it a little bit clearer. And then I got here, got a create, but also here, got a create. Collectives you own or are a member of. Come here. Okay. Last thing I want to do is for today is I want to actually display the collectives a member might be a member of. We're going to display with a row of avatars. Add some context here with the accounts. And clicking that will open a pop-up. Right, so I come here. All right, let's go your switch. Let's go to that profile. Member, one follower. I'm also going to show a avatar or list of members. Okay. All right. And then I also need to clean up this. All right, let's just clean this up real quick. I think I can clean this part up quickly. All right, let's say I switch to my personal account. Can I still manage? Can. All right, so let's clean this up. Let's go, for example, if I came to my settings, let's see what my profile looks like. All right, let's add discount. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. All right, let's come here. Manage. Right. Go. Move you up. It's the wrong spot. I did. Okay, so let's go. Edit profile. Let's see if it used. All right, that's what I thought. All right, so I need to refactor this whole page. I don't want to do that manually, so I'm going to tell it to, can you refactor this settings to utilize React hook form for its form, React hook form, and add for more user friendly validations and shed cn form component instead of React. All right, so one thing I've noticed about, especially I don't know if it's just I see any kind of model I've used, is whenever it creates forms for you, it always kind of defaults to React Router's form, which I don't like to do. I typically like to use ShadCN's form component along with React Hook form and Zod for validation. It gives you a very clean way to manage inline styles and actual, real-time validating, and just gives you a very clean upfront way of managing how it looks like. It automatically outlines things, automatically puts in inline error messages, and it just makes the whole process of managing validations and forms just much cleaner, more intuitive, and better looking without having to do much coding. Otherwise, I have to come in here and do a bunch of validation stuff for myself. I don't really know why it always kind of defaults back to React Router for its form management when everywhere else in my entire code base is always based on Zod and React Hook form. But I always find myself having to come in here and tell it to refactor it completely. And it does a pretty good job when it actually refactors. It's just for whatever reason, it always skips over the fact that I always use it for every single form that I have. And this will probably be the last thing I'm gonna do for the stream. I need to go eat, and then I'll be back probably most days this week working on this. Hopefully, I don't know. I said I might be able to get this out by the end of this week, or this new feature by this week, but I'm not sure because there's a lot of other things I need to do on the back end to make sure things are like safe and working properly in terms of this. I have to figure out a way to manage, for example, notifications for a user who might be a member of multiple collectives, so to speak, or own multiple collectives. How do I want to manage the notifications and all that other stuff? How do I want to manage messaging? All types of things. So like, I'm gonna have to kind of figure that out. All right, so as you can see, it ripped out the form and switched to use submit, which is good, and then use form from React Hook form with my Zod and Zod Resolver. Just how I manage all of my validations. And I imported another create collective schema, which it should just be getting extended basically. Let me see. Then I brought in the form from ShadCN, and then tag token rejects. All right, I'm going to fix that as well. I already have tags already set up, so I don't know why it's doing that. And create collective schema dot pick. Okay, so it's literally picking just specific ones from the schema to do, and then extending it for my tag inputs. Again, this is all validations I already have somewhere, so it's not. So when people say just vibe code things, I'd be like, bro, like there's so many things that it just not pick up on. And if you just let it run, I just don't understand how you maintain things. It just does things differently all the time. For example, I was building a few things on my VBS and setting things up on server, and I had it help me. I really asked it. I did it like on 3 separate occasions, and on all 3 occasions, it gave me 3 different ways of doing the same thing. And each time I asked it, it increasingly gave me more secure ways to do it. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why didn't you just give me the best answer up front? And it's just like, and I actually had it prompted. So it's just very frustrating sometimes when like people just vibe code and everything. I'm like, I don't think y'all understand. Like, it will literally give you different answers to the same problem if you ask it the same thing. And if you don't know that something's not necessarily secure or whatever, like you're kind of just at its mercy. All right, user account. Pretty sure I have my tag. Schema. I'm pretty sure I do have. Yeah, I do. I already have it. So basically trying to, again, I already have all of this set up in my code base, been used multiple times throughout my code base. And what does it do? It literally decides I'm just going to come up with my own way of validating tags, even though you literally have it already done. It's just little shit like that that's just so frustrating sometimes. Like, why is it redoing what I've already done? All right, that's annoying. I'm gonna have to come in here and really clean this up and submit. So on resolver mode on blur, I hate using on blur again. On blur is literally just every time you change an input and you change to another input, you just get a glaring message. Oh, there's an error. And sometimes you know there's an error. It's just not a good user experience. And I've said this multiple times, AI is not good with user experience at all. Bug on delete. Cannot be undone. Form data set, intent, delete, submit. All right, cool. Form on submit. Should add a form message field. It does. And then the reason I use Shadcn is because it already adds like validation styling with their form component, so I don't need to go in there and wire that up. It basically gives you a red glow, red outline for error messages, and it already stylizes your form message. So it just cuts out a lot of like annoying CSS UI elements that you'd have to do yourself manually for you. So I always kind of default to Shadcn. It's form component. If that is what you use in your kind of build, I would suggest it as well. Button, delete. All right, cool. So if I come here and I check, let's see, it should validate correctly. So let's just do this. Cool. Only public web domains are allowed. So all of this styling, this is handled literally by Shadcn's form component. Otherwise, I'd have to go in there and specifically build these styles and classes myself. So it just saves a lot of time on my end. And website and tags are broken. So let's go here. Website. All right, so grid columns 1, gap 4, Let's trying to figure out, I don't remember how you align 2 items in a grid. Let's go look. To align 2 grid items. Let's see, maybe items or maybe online. It's horizontally. I don't remember what it is. It's items. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. Item, sorry, aligns it in a grid. Which, honestly, I mean, it's the same for flex. Let me see. Yeah, for whatever reason, I thought it was different, but it's items. That's how you align those together. So now it should be aligned even with the error message. Should be aligned vertically. Do that as well for the name. Okay. All right, so for this, let's, instead of, again, are we trying to just do everything from scratch is what it did. Let's actually, I want you refactor is with their actual image upload components. Display the images like my edit profile. All right, so instead of whatever reason it decided I'm not going to actually reuse your inputs that you use everywhere, I actually custom built image uploads, which I already had and used, especially for things like this. As you can see, like I have image uploading already wired, and I use it all over the place. For, again, my images right here, for example, image upload. So like that, it decided it's not going to do that. Instead, it was going to create inputs, which for whatever reason didn't make much sense. So let's come here and clean this up again. Kind of want it to be the same. All right, so let's just do this. Let's come here. Image upload. Error. Want to clear default. Make sure that's clean. All right, cool. So that's actually clean. Let's do this. Let's delete you. All right, so it should clean it up. Cool. Same kind of setup, basically. Just reuse that. All right, change avatar. Change avatar. Now the slug checker is not actually wired. No, let's see. Nope, it's not. So let's come here. Should be using the same as well as my checker. All right, slug. Alright, let's put you here. So you got the same. Let's import this quick. All right, cool. So that's cleaned. Actually, I don't have it cleaned. I need to also. All right, I don't want to redo this, so I want to refactor. All right, refactor this username. Input to check availability in real time. Zakeem, man, what up? What up? Welcome back to the stream, man. The chat. What's going on, man? How you been? Come here, because I'm pretty sure. All right, so if I come here and I go to create collective, it should, for example, right. So it does. But if I go, should say not already technical. If I need to reuse the same thing I already set up into this one, let's come here. Let's go to create. Remove some of these. Right here, where is it? Great. Right here. Watch slug. Use effect. Alright, refactor check availability in real time. Like it's already set up on my create collective, create route, and edit profile. We use the same validation as my username input. Ability validation as my username input on my edit profile field form. All right, so I'm here. Let's go highlight this, and then let's also add in context of my create field. Boom. I'm good. How are you doing? I'm good too, man. I'm definitely good too. Kind of tired, but I'm good. Like definitely been grinding away. Working on my old project, my old kind of social platform, adding a new feature to it. But other than that, good, man. Definitely just good. Definitely learning new shit. Constantly coding, hands-on time. You know what I mean? What's been going on with you? You been building anything lately? Working on anything? What's going on? All right, so I reused this, and then it should have created a whole use effect, which should watch slug, mouse slug, use effect, API check, collective slug, which I believe is the same over here. Cool. Just refactor this to this, and form set error, and then it also updated this to be the same as my already set up validations here. Submitting, and checking slug. Cool. All right. Slowly get up to date. So then let's come back here. Get that check right here. And as you see, the other validation starts to appear, letting you know you are over the limit. Cool. And then let's do, what else I need to clean up? Names, good, tagline's fine. All right, and this bio, which should be here somewhere. And the same thing to my bio. Cool. I have that same character count check right here. And then, I don't know if I have this. Cool. So that validation works. Now I need to actually reuse my tag input, which again, I don't know why it's trying to redo everything. Let's go to my tags. Where is it? Right here. Tag input. Control F tag. All right, refactor this to use my tag input component and use the same validation styling as the tags input in my edit profile. Route. Choose tag. Also reuse. All right. Also utilize my tag schema from my validations file. File. All right, so it should actually reuse my tag input as it should. As you can see from my settings page, I actually have it already wired right here. A full on tag input, custom tag input, which, you know, was actually kind of hard to do, but very clean, works, limit to max 3. So for example, let's go art, should pop up my auto complete suggestions basically of things that have already been posted. And then I shouldn't be able to insert 1, 3, but then I should also still be able to clear and it comes back to me. So that's why I want to reuse that fully built-in functionality again. When I said, yes, enter, tags, input tags, input, and let's see if it actually used my validations. Yep, so it ripped out all this custom validation, which was so stupid. Then it just reused tag scheme, which I already had. I actually don't know. All right, where's this? Update, collective, save, parse. Okay. I'm probably gonna have to change that too because it didn't include everything in my field as it should have. Why isn't this? All right, cool. So here's actual input. So aren't. Shouldn't be. All right. Now let's actually put this into its own row. Let's keep these. Let's come here. Let's keep this. Let's delete this. Let's come here. So my tag should be here. All right. So let's just remove this. Should be on its own line. Want to come back? All right, cool. So they separate things. Actually put the tags much higher. Thinking, let's go name, username, tagline, bio. It's very important, so let's put it under username. Cover image. Place you here. Center, comment, tag. All right, cool. That works. That works. Tags. All right, let's figure out what was that I needed. So let's come here. This is a test. So tagline, bio, website tags. For whatever reason, it doesn't have a link section in the correct. So fix that, and then I can definitely reduce my schema instead of having two separate schemas because it just picked everything except this link route. Let's just have that as well. I don't know why it didn't include that. All right, let's come here. Let's go to settings. Let's go to profile. View my links. Actually, like that. I don't know why my creating this. I can never use that. Let's come here. All right, yeah. So I'm gonna reuse that. Just come to edit. Links. Fields, form field. I don't know if I can put this into a component or not. Probably not. Let's see. I don't know if I can. Let's ask, can I refactor this into its own component to be used in other forms? So like here you said the feature set section, it can look better. The screenshots / realistic view takes a lot of cognitive effort to digest. Are you talking about I'm assuming you're talking about on Greenlight, my SaaS app? Let me go check that. I think I know what you're meaning. Talking about this one. Yeah, it's a little bit busy, but I see what you mean for sure. 1000%. I definitely know what you mean. Yeah, I might replace them. We'll see. I just don't know what I would put here instead. I just needed an image. Yeah, I know what you mean, but we'll see. See if I come with something better. I could use those icons that I use pretty much all over the place, but we'll see. You said you're preparing for the start of the week. It's already Monday. So, man, it's creeping up pretty fast here. Not gonna lie, definitely creeping up pretty fast. It's already Monday on this side. Man, get to it, man. Hope you have a good week out there, but definitely creeping up over here. Still enjoying these last few hours of Sunday. All right, so it created its own link fields array prop function array form. Okay, so you can put this into its own component. I wasn't sure you were able to do that, but that's cool. So that. All right, so like that. So let's just reuse that as well. Let's come here, create, and let's tell it to refactor my links now. Links.fail. Okay. That is it. So I'm going to tell it to refactor this whole thing. So let's come here. All right, refactor links section with that new component. Let's see. I think I put some auditions in here. Let's come here. Big collector schema. One max 5. Okay, you can have 5. So I did put a max in there. I wasn't sure. And I refactored it with the form. So I'll do the same. My settings. All right. Let's come here. Let's go here. Let's go to settings. So under website, it should be here. Bio. Website. All right, let's come here. We do add links component. Settings. Links. All right, same. All right, let's go here. Wire up. All right. James Hoffa, man, what up? Thanks for joining the stream. The old XP days back when Microsoft was such a Microsoft was such a spy graphs. I mean, honestly, like this was kind of peak for me. XP days were definitely low key peak for me, and that's kind of where I started getting, cut my teeth in terms of coding and programming, like learning how to do things. So like, there's definitely some nostalgia with that, and just seeing that background always brings it back for me. So, all right, so let's see. Let's come here, create. Should have cleaned this up. Kind of great collective. Go to test, for example. All right, add a link. That did not change it. What the hell? All right, refresh needed. Yeah. All right, let's clean that up. All right, let's clean that up. Appreciate the sub. That's weird. That's weird behavior. Let's come here. How do I want to do this? Add links to socials or links, and then let's come here. How did I have it in my edit profile? I don't remember. Links. All right, let's add some context. That's weird. Let's come here. Next to my label. Flex items, justify center. All right, come here. Let's go here. Let's go form. Just got description. Nope. add up to let's try this again. Let's come here. It says add links to its socials. Add. And your add and nope. Let's go 5 social links. I'll do it like that. Let's come here. Second game, see you around. Have to catch some D's. Keep grinding, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate you hopping in here and definitely get some sleep, man. Week is about to start. Let's go to settings. Let's refresh. All right, so let's wrap this. I forgot. Let's come here. Form label. Let's give you a clash name. Flex, column, gap 1 maybe. Let's go items and it's weird. Start maybe. Figure out why items in does that. Let's figure that out. That's why. All right, so form description. Margin bottom 0. Cool, that fixed it. Add to 5 social links to the profile. All right, cool. I should clean that up. Now, when I come back here, when I go to, actually, let's come here. Let's go to my crate, and then let's go to my link fields. Remove this. Remove this completely. All right, then come here. Let's go to crate. Let's go in here. Add up to find social and link. Now it works. Add some padding. That's weird. Create form looks horrible. Padding Y. Let's go. Need 32. All right, that's better. Some scroll action. Links. Going center yet? Links. Cool. I want to come back and see my links are in there. I have social links. Cool. And let's just go here. Let's make sure it still works. Let's go to YouTube. Another link. Save changes. I don't know why it's not. All right, clear this and let's add a toast. So I go to about, it should have those links. It does. To manage. Deletion works. Save. All right, so I gotta fix that. So it's hard refreshing and then adding a message, which I don't like. Let's do this. I want All right, so then all right, this last thing is mostly cleaned up. I've already tested this. I know those work. Links, all this fields. Now it's the same fields, so I can clean up the schema. Now I need to add a toast, one last thing, and then add, you know, a real-time updating instead of hard refreshing. Then I don't want to add that on this, so let's go real-time update when saving the form and launch a toast instead of hard refreshing. They're out. All right, so it's gonna probably use Fetcher for all that, and then it's going to add a toast, and then that'll pretty much be it. And I'll come in here. I still obviously a lot more I have to do in terms of just building out this feature, but that cleaned up a lot today in terms of my UI and just functionality. So let's come here. Fetcher again, like I said they're gonna do. Fetcher.success, toast.success. Using that fetcher for my submit instead of a hard refresh. Then remove that inline success message, which was not how I wanted to do things, and it removes all these. And then I should be able to clean up this schema as well. Nick S, what up, man? Hey, bro, you should get a mohawk. It suits you. I mean, funny enough, in college, I actually did have a quasi mohawk back in the day. I don't know how many of y'all remember like the 2010s, but there was definitely a era where people were going around with like that kind of faux mohawk, especially like when they had like the faded sides with the one mohawk going down there. Think about Roscoe Dash days, no hands, all that. Yeah, I had one of those for a very, very short period. Would never do it again. All right, name, select logo, bio, tagline. So I should just be able to reuse this completely. Collective settings, form, schema. So yeah, I should just be able to take this, use that, typo that, and then just remove that because I don't need to extend it. Cannot find name. All right, so that should work. All right, let's come back here. All right, let's do this one last test. Make sure it verifies. Sorry, did I not just remove all that? Let's add this link. Saying saved, cool. But here, let's refresh this again. Make sure. Why did I still get this? All right, cool. Just need to refresh. It's working, and then let's remove the schema. Clean this up. One lash thing. All right, so my settings are actually good and everything works and functions. I can edit all this. Creation is working very well, and then I implemented all these kind of new modals and using my same modal across the board for switching accounts instead of creating separate ones to switch into a collective for example. And then updates here as well. Mobile looks good. Let's see, make sure that's still looking good. Does the same thing, switch into model and then whatnot, and then switch back to personal. So get that same context, remove unnecessary linkage, and it still works. And then if I come in here, I can actually still check it's still there. Cool. I'll probably actually move that up real quick. That's one last thing I'm gonna do. Let's come here, go to accounts, layout. Let's come here, let's issue higher. Cool. Collectives, tax request. All right, better. All right, cool. So I've done a lot today. UI is definitely in place, and I can definitely start working on the back end kind of functionality, and a lot of testing needs to go on and validations and making sure that people don't get access. And the next thing I need to really wire up is cross posting and cross sharing, which is kind of the heart of what a collective is going to be. So little tricky things I need to figure out. Probably gonna write a bunch of stuff down tonight and figure out the approach that I want to take. But other than that, I mean, it looks pretty good. Definitely on its way. But yeah, I'm about to go eat. Appreciate y'all for joining the stream, and I'll be back on here, probably a day or two. But as always, man, appreciate you for joining the stream, checking me out, checking out what I'm doing. Appreciate talking to y'all, and if you got any time, definitely go check out my last SaaS app that I just dropped in this past week or so. It's up there in the top corner. Definitely kick those tires. Let me know what you think about it, and other than that, man, keep coding, keep coding, keep at it, and keep pushing forward, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Bye.